Hi, hello, and good evening. It is Halloween evening, and we are chatting about The Amazing Race. We are very sorry we missed you on Thursday with our coverage of the Challenge 38. That's Ride or Dies, but we'll be doing that on Thursday, and the gang will be back together by then. But first, we have 2 episodes of The Amazing Race to get through, so let's get into it. I am Kyle Petty, and I am joined by my festy bestie, John Dunphy. And this is STRAT CHAT. You can find us on the socials at STRAT CHAT Pod or on our website at stratchatpod.com. Gina is missing this evening. She's got better things to do. But we do have things to discuss on tonight, and we are discussing 2 episodes of The Amazing Race. These are the episodes following the exit of Rich and Dom. Okay, the exit average. I just thought that'd be fun to do again.
It was.
So, for the first time, we traveled to Jordan. This was new, so they tell us. It was new to us and new to them. Since we are new to this show.
Yeah. That's right. Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yes. So kicking this sucker off, we had a roadblock. One team member had to use a metal detector to go through a crash site from some UFOs and such, spaceship debris, as the Wikipedia says, that listed the location of their next clue. This is another one where Miss Sharique's behavior really appalled me.
I know.
Leave your father alone. This man is just so happy to be out here with you, and you were just treating him so nasties.
So many comments. Come on, Dad. Hurry up,
Right.
Dad. It's like,
I mean, hurry up. You think, oh, yeah, he's intentionally moving slow while betwixt the desert. Leave this man alone. Ugh, gosh.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, they struggled with this. I'm sure it's frustrating, but it's got to be way more frustrating for the person that's looking for this piece with the metal detector and can't find it than you just sitting over on the side.
With the peanut gallery over here with all your little comments and everything. Talking about, the way you use metal detectors, you swing back and forth. Because you're such an expert on metal detection.
Oh man. Yeah. And I felt bad for her dad too, because every time somebody finds a piece, that's one less out there for you now. So
yes,
this whole big circle.
Why are you looking on the outside? All of them are found in the middle. I don't know. It seemed like good sense to me to look to the outside if a lot were in the middle. Like, I don't know. It did. It made sense. I don't know. Leave this man alone. Disgusting. Just disgusting. After that, our teams had a choice. We were faced with this detour, camel caravan, or palace puzzle. Now, just on the name alone, I said nope. I would definitely have chosen the camel caravan because I can't do anybody's slide puzzles. I just stand there and cry. But I would have been very upset. So these challenges, so our racers, Camel Caravan these teams had to carry 4 bags of hay and water from a cistern. It's a new word to me, to camels at a market in order to receive their next clue. Now, what this Wikipedia description does not tell you is that this reservoir where this water had to go, that they had to, shuttle this water from, had to go in these little 3 jugs, okay, that did not hold much water.
Yeah.
And it looked like much of this walk was uphill. Okay. Um,
Yeah.
this looked punishing. This looked terrible in this hot, hot sun. Okay, so
Yeah.
Caramel Caravan did not look like a hoot.
It did sound like a hoot. I will say that. A camel caravan sounds fun.
Right.
Uh,
I would have ran down.
yeah, but you
Yeah.
saw Marcus and Michael chose this one, and they were breaking a sweat like big time.
Mhm.
They were drenched.
Yeah.
I was a little. Were you at all surprised though, like that not a couple more teams tried this because it was
I
Marcus and
was a little
Michael,
bit.
right? Me too. Because
It
only
was only
three.
them and Linton and Sharik.
Right, and Lumumba and Glenda went over, like, briefly. We're like, "Nope, not this puzzle."
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
like, everyone else, all other
yeah,
6 teams, it was no hesitation at all. Puzzle, let's do it. I was a little
yeah,
surprised.
yeah. Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah.
Um, Also, what surprised me about this, since we're talking about the Caramel Caravan, Linton and Sharik did go, and I expected Sharik's behavior to be more disgusting than it was. And I thought she fared better in this than the last time they had to go a hunting. That was when they had to go to those little windows over in Italy and deliver the food.
Yes.
She was, really rather appalling that during that one too. Um,
Yeah.
she did better with that this one, and I think that should be noted. It was very hot, and this was right after her disgraceful behavior to her father.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
it also be noted that she cleaned up her act. Maybe production said enough with the ass attitude. She should be great to be traveling the world. Um, anyway, Palace Puzzle. These teams had to complete a slide puzzle of the Palace Tomb in order to receive their next clue. This is really hard to me. I could never work my head around moving these puzzle pieces in this way.
Yeah.
It's a total head trip to me. I can't see that many steps ahead. Um,
It can be tough.
yeah,
I have a couple slide puzzles around. I like slide puzzles, but they
yeah.
can be very frustrating. They can be very frustrating, especially out in the heat. Uh, and you have groups running up to the puzzle, finishing before you, everything just moving around. Like, it's got to be very frustrating at times. A lot of pressure.
Well, so what happened to Aubrey and David is really such a perfect example of why I could not possibly have the patience for this. Like they had everything correct, but their top row was just on the bottom. Like there's no easy way to move that around. Like you can't just move it in a circle because then
Right,
everything's still in the wrong spot. And by the time that doesn't work, I would just stand there.
right, right.
I
Yeah,
don't know how I'd ever fix that. Like that, I would just start crying.
that was rough because everything like looks right on your puzzle, kind of, I guess, or whatever, as right as it can be, and then just have them come over and give you that thumbs down and be like, "All right, never mind,
Just forget
go
it
see
then.
Phil."
Can I just start again? Can I just shake the whole thing up and just start all over? Because
Right.
like, how can I ever unsee it from the way that it currently is? I could never get out of it.
Were you surprised that like another team didn't have a similar issue? It seemed like they were the only ones that had that sort of issue. Other teams maybe struggled with it and couldn't get it totally right, but they were the only team I saw that got a whole row out of place.
Well,
I was a little surprised that not like another team, at least one more team did that.
well, I gotta be honest with you. No, no, that did not surprise me. I do think it's a little crazy that they had an entire row that was just the wrong spot. Like, what were you looking at then? Like, I don't think it's
Oh,
ridiculous. It's
were
one
they
thing
the
if you
team?
don't know how to get it together, but like you're seeing something completely different than what everyone else saw. Like,
Right. Well,
no,
no, you're right, because I think they're the team
yeah,
also. I'm pretty sure it was Aubrey who was like, "If only we had a reference," and it was like, "Look at the giant tube in
right.
front
Like,
of
I
you."
don't know what they were looking at. Like, how do you
Oh,
get
yeah.
everything perfect except for the fact that the ceiling is the floor? like, no, like,
Very fair, yeah.
sorry. That's very bizarre to me. So,
Alright. I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, but you're right. You're right.
Sorry, no go Fargo. Sorry. No. Mhm.
Oh God.
Um, but this this had them leaving. How did this go now? Linton and Sharik, they just didn't make it. Just didn't make it in time.
Yeah.
And that was the end
And
of
if
them.
they're the other team that did that camel caravan too. So if they had chosen the puzzle, it could have been totally different.
It could have been. But I wonder, because they still were last to leave the metal detection.
Yeah, they were very late.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. We bid farewell rather to Linton and Sharik. But I'm not really that sad to see them go. I'm sad to see Linton go.
Yes, I agree
You
with
know,
that.
that's sad to me. That's sad to me. But Sharik, whatever.
God, it's like it's wild too that they left just one episode after Sharik's whole blow up, right? When they just barely made it, and Rich and Dom had to go home, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, man, yeah, Sharik basically she wanted to leave, and
Yeah,
now
I
she's gone
thought
anyway.
about that, but do you really think that the outcome would have been different? Like, I think then
No,
Rich and Dom were still kind of next to go anyway. They were kind of like at that stage of the game, they were kind of bottom of the barrel.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it was their time to go. They could have just only lasted one more, and I just still think they deserved it though because they actually wanted to be there. Where Sharik clearly didn't. So that's what
yeah,
really for me stung about their exit.
yeah, yeah. No, absolutely, you're right.
You know, poor Dom, she deserved to have been able to see the Kingdom of Jordan. Like that would have been really
Mm,
cool for her.
yeah,
Instead of this ungrateful girl that almost like it almost felt like against her will. Yeah, yeah, all right, I guess I'll keep going. It's like what? Like
right. And
there are
and
people behind you that would die to be there.
yeah, and
Yeah,
I
it's just
think
too
that
bad.
was Phil even gave her the option. It was like, "Do you really want to leave? If you want to leave, you can just decide
Go.
right now."
Just
And
go.
even making the decision to stay, Sharik was like, "I'll stay, I guess, but for you, I'll stay. Only for you." Like pointing to her dad, and it's like, man, you are traveling the world, playing for a bunch of money, this cool experience with your dad. Like, I would love to have a
Right.
chance to do that kind of thing with my dad.
Like, never mind if you win anything, you're not paying for anything either. You're flying
Yeah,
around the world for as long as you make it. They're definitely paying for your meals. They're paying for your housing. And you get to run around and see the entire city. Like, what is your problem? Like,
yeah, yeah.
oh well. Oh well.
Just a
So yeah,
bummer to
so
see
it's
that.
just it's just a bummer. Yeah, Rich and Dom deserved to go on the extra trip. But
Yeah.
we didn't get that. Speaking of other tragedies, opening up this next episode 6, we bid farewell. All right, in a shocking elimination. Shocking! I lost my winner picks. My winner picks left. Abby and Will.
Yeah.
Yeah, they left us. They had a
Not the
positive
way.
COVID test, and they
Yeah.
were removed from the race.
Not the way you want to see anyone go.
No, no. Um, so we're sorry, Abby and Will. I was rooting for you. I was. Um,
They were a nice team. Um, you know, they're just did you hear did you hear in this episode Quentin and Maddie and this one we were just talking about was like, yeah, we just left we were with Luis and Michelle and that high school couple.
yeah,
I was like, oh my god.
but it's funny because I guess it would be hard to really remember everyone's names because you're not really doing this together.
Yeah.
That's such an interesting thing. It feels so funny to be at this stage of a show and people not know each other's names, but it's played so separately.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no way somebody didn't say, those black guys. There's
Oh
no
my
way.
god.
There's no way.
I just hope, honestly, Abby and Will are the type of team that I think I would love to see them get another chance next season or
Yeah.
a season in the near future.
Justice
So
for Abby and Will.
yeah,
Yeah.
I will say that.
Um, But that created an interesting dilemma now for the show. Um, People still raced in the same manner in which they were accustomed to. However, it would affect how they were departing upon the next leg. So getting last place in this leg meant that you were departing 45 minutes behind the first group departing. So that's significant.
Oh yeah.
It really sets you up for failure.
Yeah.
So, this race was still important. It wasn't an elimination, but it could potentially set you up for the next one. So this leg's detour.
Well, they started at that citadel, and they had to get a clue.
Right, because they had to do
And
the
they
roadblock first, right?
yeah, they had to find like that bookstore or something. Was that
Right. They see that bookstore, and then they had to assemble a cart, right?
Well, before the cart though, they had to choose either, I think it was that dance thing or the letter by letter where they
Oh,
had
so
to
that
sound
was
the
the order. That was the order that it went. It wasn't the other
yeah.
way around.
Right. The
Okay,
cart was last. Yeah.
the cart was last. Oh, okay, all right. That's why I paused. So I was like, I'm not sure about this. I'm like, is this in the right order? Um, you watch it as a blur. Yeah. So the detour was a choice between step by step or letter by letter. So step by step saw our teams needing to learn and perform a Jordanian flirt dance to receive their next clue. Okay. All right, I'm gonna have a lot of issues here because letter by letter was really no better. Wow,
Oh,
you're welcome. You're welcome. Um, Teams had to learn and recite the 28 letters of the Arabic alphabet to receive their next clue. Now, one would think that I would have chosen the alphabet, but I would not. I think I would have danced.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I would have really had a problem with the alphabet. Um, and I really want to discuss that with you. But first, I would really like to do step by step since that's the order in which I presented it to you.
Okay.
So the dancing. Now I would have selected this, but I would have regretted this one as well. But I don't think I was well suited for either of these.
Yeah, these were tough. These were tough, honestly.
Yeah, these are
Both of
really
them.
tough. I would have gone with the dancing, but like that was a long routine.
It really was. And I felt like they were being very like the person that had to like give their approval or say no, not good enough. Like
They're being really picky.
yeah, I forget. I think it was Glenda and Lamumba where
Mm-hmm.
the instructor was like, "You're bouncing too much. Stop bouncing." And it was like,
Yep.
"I'm just trying to get the steps right. If I have a little extra bounce in my step, get off my back.
Leave me alone. Yes, yeah. They were being really picky, really, really tough. This is not so you think you can dance. I never said I could. Okay. I never thought that. Okay. Yeah. Really, really crazy. Um, but letter by letter was tough.
It really was.
I, Clearly people were just really just memorizing this as like a thing, right?
Yeah.
But like what I thought was interesting was the Derek and Claire situation.
Yes.
So yeah, this is what I couldn't wait to discuss. So, we saw the brothers say, oh, they reread the directions and now they understood it that, it just had to be somebody from your team now
Right.
reciting this. It didn't have to be
Right.
you doing all 24, 26, or whatever the number was. You could split it. So the brothers decided to do this. One took one half and the other took the other half, which I thought was like brilliant. And then once we get to Derek and Claire, we have him, doing all this schooling because he doesn't know how to roll his R's and, really, really having a time with this now. And it just never needed to do any of that. You only were getting it wrong because you kept saying it. Seems to me if you would have just stopped saying it, like you would have been fine.
It's like, am I wrong
Right?
though? It seemed like he was the only one that was freaking out about the rolled R. I don't even think anybody else was even rolling their R.
I don't know. I honestly don't.
I could be wrong, but
No, I don't know.
they were harping on it so much, and I just don't even remember hearing anybody else do that rolling R sound like when they were saying the letters. So,
No.
but everybody did have like a different strategy too, which was interesting.
Yeah.
The brothers did like half and half, right? The sisters, Emily and Molly, they both just did the whole thing, which I think is good too, because then it's like, all right, if either one forgets one, there's a good chance the other one will remember it. So it's like, okay. But then Derek was just freaking out.
Was they kept telling him that he was saying it wrong. Like he definitely was having it, but he just didn't say it. None of this would have mattered.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just thought that was very funny.
Very funny.
Because like you said, the sisters, if one of them just forgets it, the other one would probably remember. Like that's all that needed to happen here. Damn.
Yep.
What a burn.
Damn.
What a burn. But once people completed these things, they got their dance right and they got the alphabet right. And it was 28 letters. Okay, it was 28. Yes. They were now faced with the next roadblock. And one of these team members had to assemble a cart called, I'm not going to try this word, but it was a cart. And that's what they needed to receive their next clue. Now, what I think this omits is like, didn't they also have to put things in it and bring something someplace? Wasn't that also part of it? It wasn't just constructing the cart. There was some kind of delivery involved, no?
I don't remember if they had to put anything in it. I honestly don't, but they had to complete the cart and then it had to like reach the finish line with them. That
right. I thought they had to actually carry something.
It's totally possible. I just don't remember.
I really felt for Luis and Michelle here.
Oh
their
my
cart
God,
it just fell apart. Just fell apart. Yikes.
What do you think of his strategy? He was like, I'm going to choose the cart closest to the example. You know what I mean? Did you think that was smart? That way he doesn't have to go do as much running back and forth. Maybe he's got a better view and kind of.
I mean, I guess I'd venture to say no, since his was the only one that fell apart in the street.
Yeah, that's true, actually. That's a good point.
And if it was a good strategy, then he did not employ it well.
Right.
Something did not go right.
I just remember him saying so many times over and over, I'm going to get the one closest to the example, get the one closest to the example. So that'll be good.
Sounds good. But sounds good.
Now oh God. Oh, did you also, I don't remember who made the comment, but did you hear somebody said to DX during this, man, Claire had to build a Ducati and now she's building this?
Where all he did was metal detection. What else?
Freaked out about his R's, his rolled R's.
Yeah, man. I don't know. He did do the sculpting though, right? He did sculpting. Bless you.
Yes, that's correct. Sorry.
Yeah. It's all right. It's all right. You're still sickies. We're still in a pandemic.
I know.
If anybody out there forgot, anybody out there forgot. So, we're fighting that. That's why we weren't with you on Thursday. People were sick.
Yeah, I just had to sleep,
Yeah. Some other people were being honored for their volunteerism,
Congratulations, of course.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. It was a nice night. It was a very nice night. I'll have you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a very nice night. So that's that. Nobody was eliminated because we had already lost Will and Abby. And that was that. We had Glenda and Lumumba finishing last. All right, so they'll be opening up the next leg with a penalty, 45 minutes late.
Yeah.
They'll be beginning their race.
It makes it feel so much worse because of the way that Abby and Will, exited, because this is all different now because of the way they left. Like, you would have had somebody else. I mean, I guess this all would have been different though. And now that I'm thinking about it, because I'm thinking of like, oh, if Abby and Will hadn't been taken out, then a second team would have been leaving in last place with that, last place team. But no, because somebody still would have been eliminated at the end of this leg. So, right?
Yeah, somebody still would have been eliminated at the end of this slate. That doesn't necessarily mean that they would not have been that the next person would not have been 45 minutes behind, but maybe it wouldn't have been as big. Because there is always a difference in departure time, but 45 minutes is long.
Yeah, when you're the only team leaving that far behind too.
Yeah.
It's
It really does set you up for elimination. It really does.
whew,
That's a lot to come back from.
wow.
Mhm.
That's wild. So we're down to 7 teams, right? We're only down to 7, I think now.
That's wild.
I think Luis and Michelle, Aubrey and David, Quentin and Maddie, DX and Claire, Marcus and Michael, Emily, Molly, Glenda, Lamumba. 7. And yeah, Luis and Michelle, man, two first place finishes,
Yeah. They really turned it out.
right?
And it's too bad for Marcus and brother. Because if it wasn't for that camel caravan, they might have been able to like stay up there.
Yeah.
That hurt them. That's when they slipped to third, isn't it? The camel caravan.
Yeah, they had been ahead pretty much the whole time. With Emily and Molly though too. Emily and Molly actually they slept a little bit too because I remember there was a comment in that in the first episode they were in Jordan. Emily and Molly, Marcus and Michael all were the first ones to the metal detector area. Marcus and Michael finished, and then pretty soon after, but not that soon, it seemed like Emily and Molly finished. And Marcus and Michael saw their car coming up behind. They were like, "The sister's already caught up to us." Oh my god!
Yes, yeah.
But then both of them ended up finishing. Marcus and Michael finished in third in that, and Emily and Molly finished fifth. So they were the two front runners when the metal detector ended, and they finished, out of the top 3 by the end of it.
Yeah.
Well, top 3, top 5, but
Nice observation. Yeah, you're right. Yikes.
yeah.
Yikes to the two of them. I'm concerned about sister's leg. I don't know who it is.
I know.
I don't want that to be a reason why
Yeah.
these girls leave. I love them.
I know they're awesome.
I love their story. Yeah, I don't want that to be a reason why they go. So healing vibes, as if this is live. We hope you healed.
Yeah, we hope that you healed between this leg and the next one.
Yeah, post-dated healing vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see her. You're right. I don't remember which one it was. It was whichever sister did not do the metal detector. I just don't remember if Emily did it or Molly did it. But
yeah,
I feel like with the running they did through the desert and the sand, that's got to be some of the toughest running that you can do. So if they're not running through the desert anymore after this, like hopefully she'll be all right.
right.
Just running
And
through.
if she was able to do it at all, like,
yeah, that's the thing. She was a trooper, so
right.
I got to imagine that running, uphill in desert sand has to be just so physically exhausting.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah, because I really want to see them get very far. So
yeah, I'm really rooting for them. I'm rooting for them, and I'm rooting for Marcus and brother.
Yeah.
What is his
Eminem.
name?
Marcus and Michael.
Michael.
Yep.
I only remember Marcus clearly. So I guess that's that on The Amazing Race. Really not much more to say. It's a very enjoyable show. I'm glad we're watching.
I love this show.
Yeah.
Well, these 2 episodes in particular, I know it's just so gorgeous. And even hearing Phil talk about like the desert, like, oh, you've probably seen this landscape in movies and stuff.
Yeah, and like Star Wars. Yeah, like, I thought of you. Yeah.
What would you have done, by the way, being on that train and you see all these guys on horseback with swords coming? It literally looked like Lawrence of Arabia, like they said. It looked so cool.
Tommy was also like, wouldn't it be like funny but not funny if like they think that this is like part of the show and it's not? And they just like come up and just like robbing them, and I'm like, I'm like, that's awful.
Oh my god!
I'm like, that's awful. But I mean, it looked awesome. But I would have been thinking that though, because that's what I think when I. Oh, this is actually right on time. This is Halloween. I think about that when I walk through haunted houses, and I'm like, yo, I'm walking through here, and like, yo, these people like come out here with these knives, like you could actually kill me, and like nobody would know. They would just think I was part of the show.
Right. No,
I'm
you're,
like, oh
you're
my
right.
god, I'm like, help me, and they're like, wow, this is really realistic. I'm like, help me, please. Like, no, they think you're killing me, and they're like, wow, this is awesome. This is only
It's
20
so
bucks.
realistic.
It's so realistic. I really believed it. Gosh, you remember that guy at the end? Wow, that was crazy. That was the end of my life. Yeah,
What do you think they used like to simulate his guts? It's like,
but
no,
that was
this is just real
crazy. It
guts.
even like, did you smell that? Like it's. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it's supposed to smell like, but I would imagine it's that.
Oh my god.
It's terrible. I think about that every time. I'm like, why do I pay to come in this place?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh god.
Wait. Why did I say this? Haunted house.
We were talking
Walking
about
through a
Lawrence of
place.
Arabia.
Ah, right. There it is. There it is. It's not part of the show. You are being robbed.
We do not have a clue for you.
You should have gotten the clue already. We were wielding swords. That was the clue. Silly. But yeah, it was cool. It was very cool. Like, they're having such amazing experiences. Even just before that, just to be able to ride a train in that area because I love trains to begin with. One of those old trains.
Yeah.
Gosh, and the way it was even just kicking up the dirt and everything. It was just so cool. It was cool just to watch. I can't imagine actually having been on it.
Yeah. And it's interesting to see some of their reactions too, because at this point they've been to, Italy and Germany, and they've been to all these awesome countries already. But like when they were reaching Phil at the end of that one leg, when they were like, they had to run up the stairs to those like ruins, like, it was like some kind of temple. And I think it was the twin sisters, actually, Emily and Molly. Like, they got there and they were like, wow, like, look at this. Oh my, just amazed by it. Yeah. And I'm like, you've already been to like a handful of really cool countries, and you're still like, you get here and you're still like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, it's just got to be so cool to see, awesome place after awesome place that I just really am dying to go to.
Yeah, it's so cool. And I love being able to watch it. It's my favorite part of this. I don't know if it's my favorite part. It's up there though. It really makes it it so special. Yeah. Hey Matt, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. What's up, Matt?
But yeah. So that was The Amazing Race.
Yeah, these were pretty straightforward episodes, I felt,
Yeah. I want to see some U-turns. Let's go. Let's see some U-turns.
Yeah.
You're familiar with the U-turn, right?
I haven't seen one. I've just only heard about it.
Those of our friends that are new to The Amazing Race, a U-turn, at least was on previous seasons. If somebody picks, one way or the other on a detour, people who are finishing first can select people to get a U-turn, and they have to go back and do the other detour before they can move forward. Yeah. It's a little bit of strategy that it gets employed that makes it pretty fun.
Yeah, I would love to see it.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. So, because these two episodes in particular that we're talking about tonight did feel very much like very straightforward. Like, get your clue, go to the roadblock or the detour, finish that, then go on to the next thing, then go find Phil, and you're done. Like, it felt very, very much straightforward. And I'm just now thinking about it. Like, these two episodes, we really didn't see them have to navigate on their own very much, right? They were getting driven around a lot. They took that train. Do you think that could have that? Right? Do you think that could have had something to do with it? We like in these two episodes, we didn't really have any moments where like people were getting lost, didn't know directions. They were trying to get directions from a tourist or from a local or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if that's why these felt so much more just like bop, bop, bop. We're at the end.
Well, I actually thought about that more as, I wonder if certain countries it's allowed to just get in the car and drive on their roads. You know, who said you were good enough to drive over here? I don't care that some person in your country says you're allowed to drive. Like, when you come here, you better go sit down and put your hands on your lap. I don't know. I that's
that.
kind of what I thought it was.
It could be. Hey,
Yeah.
could be. Jordan's like, listen, you're lucky we even let you in the country this season.
Exactly.
Okay, it's the first time you're here.
You think you'll be driving one of our cars on my road?
Baby steps here. Baby steps.
Exactly. You're lucky I'm letting you walk on my street. I'll be damned if you driving down it. Oh no.
Oh God.
You're silly.
Oh my God. But
yeah, it's a great question. Yeah, Matt says, I know licenses work state to state, but do they work country to country? I mean, we see, like, on The Amazing Race, like, people driving in other countries, but, like, yeah, that's kind of what's up for debate here. We think the Kingdom of Jordan said, not in our house.
Go back to Jersey.
Yeah, please. Get the hell out of here. Your whack ass New Jersey. New Jersey. It don't mean nothing to them over there. Idaho. Get out of here.
Oh man. Yeah. I don't know. We should look into it. You know, the driving between country to country. I mean, you can drive to, like, Canada from the US, you know.
Right. Matt says, our friend Jacob Hacker got to drive on Australian roads. There's got to be something, right? Yes, there does. There does have to be something. Because even on The Amazing Race now, we've seen them go from country to country and get lost driving. Like, you know, they don't know where they are.
Yeah.
And they're driving on opposite sides of the road. Like, we've seen them on opposite sides of the car.
Yeah, I would have a very hard time driving on the wrong side of the road. Well, it's not the wrong side of the road there.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I would have a difficult time with that.
I would love trying it.
Yeah.
But all right. We can make this an early night. You know, I wouldn't mind going to eat some Fruity Pebbles.
Just have one thing to say.
What's that now?
Manwan.
I knew it. Like, as I was saying, what's that now? I knew. And I got very excited. Yeah. That's right side of the road either.
That is true. It is
true. So what do we have this week? We're kind of quiet. At least compared to last week. 'Cause last week was crazy hysteria.
I'm hoping to have something, you know, exciting lined up for next.
Yeah, we got other stuff cooking.
Yeah.
All right. Our pot is it's not at a rolling boil, but there are bubbles on the bottom and bubbles forming on the side.
Oh yeah. Oh sure.
Yeah. So stupid. But before that, on Thursday, we're talking about the Challenge 38. We've got 2 episodes to get into, so we got lots to chat about. And also, we can talk about this on air. You did notice. Oh,
what's that?
Never mind. We'll talk about this offline. Anyway, all right. So Challenge 38 on Thursday at 9:30 p.m. We'll be live, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. And now we're back to Facebook. Now we stream there again. All right. So tell your mom, tell your friends, tell everybody we're back on Facebook. Strat Chat.
Matt says you're a tease.
I know, because I made a huge mistake in my head, and I would rather it not be immortalized. So That's when we'll see you is Thursday. This was Strat Chat. You can find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod or on our website at stratchatpod.com. And that's it. Anything else for the benefit of the community?
That is all.
All right. Like and subscribe. Share with a friend. Let's grow this sucker. It's the help funds. So I'm out of here.